Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lunch with Len. It's Tuesday, May 24th, and really glad to have you here. So, welcome, Jackson. Welcome, Christy, Bill Moore, Chris, Cher. It's good to see you, Cher. It's been a long time, and I'm gonna get started here pretty quick, like Smokey and the Bandit. I got a long ways to go and a short time to get there. Don't want to keep you all day, but we got a lot of material to cover. Who just jumped in? There comes Rick. Hello, Rick. Welcome aboard, Rick. Good to see you. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about some stuff that I've been learning recently, and it's actually mind-staggering. But I'm going to take a lot of material that I'm going to talk about today comes from this book, The Next Trillion, book by Paul Zane Pilzer, Why the Wellness Industry Will Exceed the $1 trillion Healthcare Sickness Industry in the Next 10 Years. And I entitled today's talk The Sickness Industry because that's really what we're going to talk about. The wellness industry is something we've got to replace the sickness industry with, and we each and every one of us has a role in that, I think. In fact, I know we have a role in it. So I see some messages and just wanted to let you know J-Man is here and listening, but he's mobile right now, so he can't talk. Whew, a show without J-Man talking. God, I don't know if I can handle that, Christy. Just joking, of course. I love it when J-Man can chime in and say something. But hey, at first I was just going to talk to you today, and then I really decided there's so much material and then stuff that I thought that would be easier for you to absorb at least the elementary parts of it if I put it down in the presentation format. So let me go ahead and screen share and do my usual. I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint presentation and hope to God I don't screw it up so everybody can actually see and hear what I'm doing. I'm presenting to everyone. And I'm going to assume that you can see the screen share. I'm going to actually wait for somebody to tell me, yeah, we see the screen share, and then I'll put the PowerPoint up because, as you know, once I put up the PowerPoint, I can't see the chat anymore. So I won't have a way of knowing that you can actually see and hear what's going on. So somebody let me know you can see and hear fine. Everything's working. And then we'll rock and roll. Chris says yes. All right, let's rock and roll. The sickness industry and what it's doing to us. And it's sort of important for us to start here. And while I don't want to I really wish I didn't have to focus in on this. It's important to understand what's really going on out there so that we can see our way to make it better for all of us. And as I said, a lot of this is sourced, not all of it, but a lot of it is sourced from The Next Trillion by Paul Zane Pilzer. And today, his cover says why the wellness industry will exceed the $1 trillion sickness industry in the next 10 years. This book is actually about 10 years old, so some of the statistics are incorrect. Today, the sickness industry is $2.8 trillion, which is what he predicted it would be in 10 years, and it's basically gotten there. So here's a quick question. How do you feel? Now, I know that many of us here are doing things that are really in line with making us feel good and working our way out of the sickness industry and into the wellness industry. So there's a good chance some of us are feeling good, but if we are, we're amongst a very small percentage of the population. The reality is 2/3 of our society is sick. 2/3. They're overweight, they have low energy, they have disease, they get colds, they have flus, they have aches, pains, cramps, they have intestinal issues. And what's making them sick is the whole industry that we're immersed in. It's not just the food, it's not just the supplements, it is everything. It's how the medical profession, how the pharmaceutical profession, and et cetera, is responding, and where the money is flowing. Follow the money. So let's just look at the weight problem for a moment alone. More than 2 in 3, 2/3 of adults are considered to be overweight or obese. More than 1 in 3 adults are considered to be really obese, and extreme obesity 1 in 20. About 1/3 of children and adolescents ages 6 to 19 are overweight or obese, and 1 in 6 children are ages 6 to 19 are considered to be obese. And overweight is 10 or 20 pounds overweight, and obese is really overweight. So they make a distinction. But the reality is that over 2/3 of our society is obese. And that's just the beginning of this. The health risks of that are, I think we all know most of them, but the health risks are Type 2 diabetes is on the rise. Heart disease is on the rise. People have high blood pressure. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is on the rise, and that is liver disease that is in people who don't drink alcohol. So it's liver disease not caused by alcohol. Osteoarthritis is on the rise. And yeah, that's what I had. That's why I had a hip replaced. And in looking back, it looks like that perhaps a lot of that could have been prevented. And then certain types of cancers, of course, as we know, breast cancer is on the rise, and et cetera, and strokes. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and we've got to take a look at the root cause. And sadly, even people with normal health are unhealthy. And here's the enigma. Modern medicine tells us to accept wellness deficiencies as a normal part of the aging process. We are supposed to accept that as we get older, we have headaches, we have body pain, we have fatigue, we have arthritis, and diseases such as cancer, arteriosclerosis, liver disease, etc. These are normal part of the aging process. Bullshit. They are not. They are part of the sickness industry that we are immersed in, and we can fix this. We can fix this for ourselves, and we can fix it individually. Let's keep going. The human body. So here's the question. Are these things part of the aging process? The human body requires a daily intake of 13 essential vitamins to sustain the millions of chemical reactions that our bodies perform daily. It also requires certain minerals. And even people who appear reasonably healthy aren't getting these. They're not getting them from our food supply because our food supply is damaged. So that's one of the major issues. Our bodies aren't getting the chemicals it needs to sustain itself. The short-term results of these deficiencies are all of those conditions which we're told to accept as a part of aging, or hey, we can go to the doctor and get a pill. If we have a headache, we can take an aspirin. Well, why do we have a headache? So lack of energy, joint pain, failing eyesight, hearing loss, and ultimately cancer and heart disease can be traced back to deficiencies in the food supply, and also to toxic chemicals and other things. And we'll chat about that a little bit later. But there's a way out of the abyss. And I use the word abyss here intentionally. I actually didn't have the word abyss in before it was used in the Bob Miller Gratitude Success Show today. And Bob's movie about the abyss is one I'd seen before, and it's really a good movie. And I just put the word in because we are in an abyss. We're in a healthcare abyss, and there's a way out of it. Interestingly enough, and quoted from the Next Trillion, God creates the cure before he sends the malady. We can fix this. And we need to make our medicine our food, and our food our medicine. We need to make our medicine our food, and not the green pill or the purple pill or the red pill or the yellow pill, and our food our medicine. The food industry today is a $1 trillion industry that bombards us with messages designed to entice us to eat the worst possible food. Now notice this. This is shocking. The avatar for the food industry, the target market, is people who are overweight and have low income. Now just think about that for a minute. The food industry is intentionally targeting the worst health group in society. And in so doing, they're causing that group to grow in two ways. They're causing it to grow in size around the waist and grow in size in absolute numbers. They're targeting the people that are sick and making them sicker and sustaining the sickness. And big tobacco, and I didn't know this, but big tobacco is buying up the junk food industry and using the same techniques it used to promote cigarettes. Now, I don't know how many of you remember, but I'm sure many of you do. When I was a kid growing up, and we won't talk about how long ago that was, but when I was growing up, and even when I was already sort of grown up, the tobacco industry was still telling us that cigarettes were safe, that nicotine wasn't addictive, that it was all in our head. Doctors were prescribing cigarettes, for God's sake, because they were being paid to prescribe cigarettes. And you could go to the doctor and ask him, well, should I smoke the red brand or the green brand or the white brand or the whatever? We were told that secondhand smoke was safe. We were told there was no risk in it. And they're using the same deceptive techniques today to sell us quarter pounders with cheese and Cheetos. Our bodily organs replace themselves. Every organ is on a different schedule. And I didn't try this presentation's already been too long, going to be too long. I didn't try to put numbers in, but every organ in your body replaces itself. Some every month, some every 6 months, some every year, some every couple of years. And without proper nutrition, proteins, vitamins, minerals, our bodies and minds deteriorate. We're not able to replace the dying cells of our internal organs. And that causes a slow decline in our functionality. And initial symptoms are mood swings, fatigue, nervousness, headache, confusion, muscle weakness, and gradually moving to the longer term, cancer, hypertension, Alzheimer's, etc. And once again, we're told to accept these as part of the aging process. Modern medicine treats nutritional problems with drugs that focus on the symptoms rather than the underlying problem. The U.S. food supply is dominated by empty calories. Empty calories are food that's high in caloric content, but deficient in essential nutrients. They're full of fat, sodium, and preservatives. Note, modern medicine treats nutritional problems with drugs that focus on the symptoms rather than the underlying problem. Let's talk a minute about who eats this stuff. They don't. People that make this stuff don't eat it. This is a quote, direct quote from The Next Trillion. One of the great scandals of the junk food culture is many of the most enthusiastic supporters don't participate. Look at the people on television who advertise this stuff. Do you see any 200-pound or 250-pound grossly obese, overweight people on the commercials telling you to eat junk food? People that advertise it don't eat it. How about kids? These guys target our kids. Children and teens continue to see 3 to 5 fast foods ads on TV every day. Healthier kids' meals were advertised by a few restaurants, but they only represented 1/4 of the fast food ads viewed by children. Less than 1% of kids' meals combinations at restaurants meet nutritional standards recommended for kids. Spanish language advertising is growing, and that population is at risk for obesity. Fast food marketing via social media and mobile devices, media popular to teens, is growing exponentially. These guys are targeting our kids. And I can see that in my own granddaughter. She's 8 years old. She's overweight, and she's addicted to crap. It's really hard to get good food into her. She's addicted to crap. In 2012, the fast food industry spent $4.6 billion to advertise mostly unhealthy products to children and teens. That's staggering. And of course, there's the huge lie of sugar and fat free. Everything that's sugar and fat free is really bad for you, because sugar and fat free means that these natural ingredients have been replaced by artificial ingredients that convert to unhealthy levels of fats and sugars once ingested. And there's nothing wrong with eating fat and sugar in limited quantities, in the correct formats, and etc. And I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm not going to get into it. But in many cases, the natural ingredients were better for you than the crap that has replaced the natural ingredients. And fat doesn't make you fat. That's one of the problems with all this. It's not really the culprit. And again, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not going to get into it. What I do want to do is talk a little bit about the medical industry. Physicians represent the target market to the medical companies, the pharmaceutical companies. Patients receive the treatment that is the most profitable for everybody, for the doctor, for the hospital, for the pharmaceutical company, whoever. The drug companies spend more money on marketing than they do on research. And, you know, consider even TV ads. Now, I don't watch TV anymore, but I do see ads every now and then when I'm at somebody's house or someplace. And there's all these TV ads. And interestingly enough, Wayne Dyer talked about this too. Hey, you know, do I need the green pill or the purple pill or the red pill or the yellow pill? He talked about an ad where somebody was going clam fishing or clamming, and it was an ad for the blue pill. And he needed this blue pill so that he could go dig for clams. We're immersed. And they're shoving pills down our throat. And we just got to stop it. We've got to stop it. We're the consumers. We have the choice of stopping this stuff. It's more profitable for the medical suppliers to produce products consumers use for the rest of their life. They don't want you to get better. They don't want to cure your disease. They don't want you to feel good. And they sure as hell don't want you taking vitamins, minerals, and supplements, because that's going to make you feel better. They don't want you to go to the gym. That's going to make you feel better. And then they can't shove their pills down your throat, which is why so many supplements are, they're discredited. These statements have not been approved by the FDA. Well, the FDA is being manipulated by the pharmaceutical companies, I think. That statement didn't come from the next trillion. That came from me. This means controlling symptoms rather than curing the disease. They would rather control the symptoms. The bottom line is the pharmaceutical companies want to keep you sick. Not too sick, mind you. They want to keep you well enough that you get out of bed every day so you can take their pills. And the cover-up is huge. Actors, singers, models, etc., that advertise this stuff don't eat it. They consume a pro-vegetarian diet lacking in processed and addictive foods, but they keep that a secret because they are afraid of being boycotted by the television industry, where so much advertising revenue comes from fast food restaurants and processed food. So they don't want to tell you what they really eat, because then they wouldn't maybe be able to do those ads. So to complete the picture, we know that we have chemicals and toxins in our foods and our personal care products and our cleaning products and our toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, and they're all pointing the same direction. They're creating disease for the drug companies to manipulate. And, the drug companies, once again, they are financially incentivized in the current system to keep you sick, to keep you just sick enough that you get out of bed and you don't feel good, so you take their pills. But you don't really get cured. And that's the enigma in this whole mess. We can go back 100 years and try to trace the history of how we got here. It doesn't matter. This is where we are. And how do we dig out of it? I mean, right now, America is basically a two-party system, those who have health and those who don't. And amongst those who have health, there is a subculture that is growing of people who are extremely healthy and quietly embracing a revolutionary new approach to diet, exercise, vitamins, nutritional supplements, medical care, and the aging process itself. And I would like to believe that most of us that are on this call today are moving toward being a member of that elite group of understanding that we can work our way out of this merry-go-round that we're on, of popping pills to mask the symptoms of the diseases that are being caused by our supplements, our lack of supplements, our diets, and the other things in our environment. The future is that, and this is a headline directly from the internet today, the 2.8 trillion US healthcare market is threatened by disruptive new entrants. It's about time. The entire industry is about to be reshaped. Health insurance as we know it will quite possibly disappear. How about wellness insurance? I've long understood that the Chinese have a totally different approach. Chinese health is preventive medicine. If you get sick in China, you fire your doctor. In America, if you get sick, you go to the doctor. In China, if you get sick, you fire your doctor. Your doctor is supposed to keep you well. He's not supposed to allow you to get sick. We got to turn this around, and we got to replace the sickness industry with a wellness industry, where wellness insurance. Today, wellness insurance won't pay you to go to the gym, but they'll pay you to go and get a surgery to fix something that you could have fixed if you went to the gym in the first place. It's completely, totally upside down. And we're in a group of people that can begin to fix this. The greatest personal fortunes of the past several decades were made by people who found better ways to distribute things. Walmart, FedEx are used as examples. Their distribution. And today, intellectual distribution versus physical distribution, and I'll define that in a moment, is the greatest entrepreneurial opportunity now and for the foreseeable future. And what is intellectual distribution? It's what we got, folks. Intellectual distribution is educating customers about products they don't even know exist. Greens, reds. Direct selling has led this charge. There are a number of direct selling companies out there that are leading the health and wellness charge. And, you know, while we know they're not all pure and they're not all organic and they're not all this, that, and the other, direct selling is a key component of this business, and it is leading the charge into the future. And there's enormous room for growth. Direct selling still represents a very small fraction of traditional retail sales. So there is absolutely enormous room for us to grow and to be part of the charge to turn this around, working together and helping people understand that there are things that they can do to make themselves better. And it isn't go to the doctor and get the red pill, the green pill, the blue pill, or the purple pill. So, unfortunately and sadly, the conclusion is that today's healthcare is really sickness prolongation. The medical industry is working at keeping you sick, just a little sick, as long as possible, so you can keep taking the green pill. They're keeping you alive, but keeping you popping pills, because that's the most profitable thing for them. And we're the consumers. We, the consumers, collectively can change that, and we have to. And we collectively, in this tiny, teeny little community of ours, we are, in our explosively growing community, we are incredibly well positioned to help and profit from the coming explosion of the wellness industry. And it is, every indication is that the wellness industry it's a lumbering 747 halfway down the runway and the nose gear's in the air. This baby's about to go airborne. Every indicator is pointing that direction. So that's Chris, are you giving up your Cheetos and your M&Ms? Am I back? Can everybody see me and hear me? Well, I went through that a little bit fast. I thought it would take a little longer than it did, but it's okay. Yes, I assume that means you can see me and hear me. I just wanted to share some of that with you. And again, you know, for those of you who are interested in digging in more detail, more depth, The Next Trillion is the book. That's a pretty reasonable summary of a lot of the points in the book. But it's just mind staggering. And I think we all sort of knew this. I mean, we all sort of sensed that this medical profession isn't really trying to make us well. They're trying to keep us taking pills. But I didn't see it, I never saw it before quite in the black and white and with the statistics and the analysis and et cetera, that this book, what's his name, sorry, the author's name, Paul Pilzer, that he brought to it. And so I thought I wanted to just bring it out and share it with you. So that's all I have for you today. As I think all of you know, I will be at Bob's memorial service on Thursday. It starts at 11 o'clock. And Chris will be there too. And I don't know if anyone else is coming, but I haven't heard of anyone else. So there's not going to be a lunch with Len on Thursday because I'm not going to have lunch with Len in the middle of Bob's ceremony. So we'll be at Fiesta Island, and I'm going to see if I can periscope it. At minimum, take pictures. I'll bring back something. I don't know what yet, but I'll try to share with you as much as I can. without being too disruptive of the ceremony. We will visit Andy. For those of you who have asked, I'm working, and I talked to Jackson yesterday, and we're working on trying to put something in place for Andy. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but there are people up there who do go out to Fiesta Island regularly, and they go visit Andy. There were other people. So there are other people, and I will chat with them while I'm up there, and we'll see if we can put something in place to help Andy. And we're not going to forget him. So for those of you who have asked about Andy, we're working on it. I'll know more next week. So join me on Lunch with Len next Tuesday, and that's all I have for today. So unless there's any more questions, unless there's any questions or comments or criticisms or suggestions, I'm going to go ahead and kill the broadcast here. So I'm just sort of watching the chat to see if anyone else has anything to say. Oh, hello, Linda. Welcome. I guess I won't pull you out and embarrass you, but my sister's actually on. She's never been on Lunch with Len before. So welcome aboard. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, folks, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Again, Thursday is not going to happen. You'll see a cancellation notice come through for Thursday, and we will see you on Tuesday on the next exciting edition of Lunch with Len. Bye for now.